Let's go live to the Lewis Brown Athletic Center in New Jersey for tonight's Syracuse-Rutgers game.
Officially known as the Lewis Brown Athletic Center, but affectionately known as the Rack here at Rutgers, as they file in for this game, the Big East home opener for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights as they take on the number 10 team of the country, Syracuse, with a record of 13-1, and being led right now by, among others, forward Damone Brown. As a senior, he has really stepped it up and is the Big East co-player of the week along with Troy Bell of Boston College. He has had a couple of huge games. It's going to be a tough task tonight for Kevin Bannon and the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. They've had some close losses, but right now he tells us they need the W.
Right now the guys are giving me everything that they could possibly give me, but you've got to win. You know, you just can't keep coming up with moral victories. You've got to get over that hump, and you've got to get some wins, and hopefully playing at home and lessons that we've learned early on in the year in the league, you know, will help us tonight.
Lost by 4 to Villanova, lost by 7 at Notre Dame. Nothing wrong with that, but another tough one coming in here tonight with Syracuse in town. The lineups when we come back to the Rack after this. The home theater looks a little bit like your basement. This is a nice place. Giant TV, satellite feeds. You need it. They've got it here at the Rack. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Shulman. This is Bill Raftery. The one thing that Rutgers doesn't have tonight is Rashad Kent, one of their big men. And Syracuse is without their starting center, Billy Seelick. We'll get into the reasons why during the game, but it really changes the complexion of this game.
Well, they're not that deep a team. Kevin Bannon has some problems with that. Also, the physical play underneath and the problem, the 2-3 zone. Syracuse will step out, attack the great shooters. You do need some inside baskets, particularly for Rutgers.
Over the last 35 years, Jim Boeheim, as an active player, an assistant coach, and the head coach of Syracuse, has been a part of more than 1,000 games, and he's won his fair share of them. Here is the starting lineup for the Syracuse Orangemen, but to tell you a little bit more about them, their standout senior forward, Damone Brown.
Tonight we got Brooklyn Sliners, Allen Griffin at point. We got the hometown man, Deshaun Williams. We got the big man in the middle, Big Perm, Jeremy McNeil. We got the long-range threat, Preston Shepard. And we got myself, the quiet stuff, Damone Brown.
And for Rutgers, Kevin Bannon in his 4th year at the helm of this program, and they're a little undermanned right now. They had some players not work out in the summertime, plus Rashad Kent is out. So this is a different-looking lineup than Kevin Bannon anticipated. He tells us about his team.
Our starting lineup tonight at point guard is Mike Sherrod, who's a classic New York City slashing point guard, playing very well as a freshman. Alongside him at the 2 guard is Todd Billett. Todd's off to a great start, a couple 30-point games and leading our team in scoring. At the 3 spot is Jeff Greer, who will undoubtedly go down as one of the best players in Rutgers history, inside, outside, just a very versatile player. At the 4 spot for us will be Sean Exani, a freshman, but sat out last year with a foot injury, playing very good basketball for us right now. And at the center is big Kareem Wright. He's a son of a mountain of a man who is turning the corner right now as a player. He's not the finished product as a scorer, but he's rebounding and defending and doing everything that he wants.
Always a good atmosphere here in this building. Even though some of the students haven't returned yet from break, it's still a good crowd. And in a conference where there are a lot of big buildings, this is a special place to come. It seats about 8,500. And boy, ask Jim Boeheim about how tough it is to win in here. They've lost the last 2 times they've come here.
Well, Gamble, I would say, is like this. Yep. I mean, similar in the closeness and the impact of the crowd. And Jimmy doesn't like it down here in New Jersey.
Did you see that officiating crew?
Yes.
This is good.
Top.
The big fellas are here tonight. And we are underway with Syracuse controlling.
And Rutgers, thank you, Kevin Bannon. And Dan Shulman goes, get him in.
And Kevin Bannon told us to expect some man, some zone. Depends on the lineup that Syracuse uses and how well they shoot the ball tonight. Syracuse 13-1 on the season, and this by Deshaun Williams. Rutgers is 8-5, but in the conference, the Orangemen 2-0, the Scarlet Knights 0-2.
And here he gets about 5 rebounds a game. He's got to help tonight on the glass without Kent.
This is
double screen, excuse me.
Mike Sherrod, who's one of the new guards for Rutgers, the only significant newcomer on this team. Greer slithers inside, but it's blocked by McNeil, and that's one thing that he has done very well. Despite playing sparingly, he's leading the Orangemen in blocks.
And don't foul. That's a key for him as well. A nice little dribble penetration to get it.
Shumpert kicks it out to Brown. His 16-foot jumper a little bit strong. And it's not really his game. He'll get to the line, get to the basket, score on the offensive rebound, and that kind of thing.
Billy Seelick, you mentioned not being here. That's what they get out of Billy, too. They expect him to change some shots in the lane.
Seelick with some academic issues. They're going to appeal, and he's expected to be eligible again for Syracuse's next game. This is the second game that he has missed. There's Todd Billey. Nice pass off to Wright, and this time McNeil commits the foul.
And if anything has changed in Billitt's game, it's that ability to get into the lane. He's stronger than last year. He's more confident, and he knows on closeouts. When he puts it on the floor, it's a daily delight in the 3-second lane. And look at this little dish. The penetration, the defense sort of sucked towards the ball. And the big fella just attacks the rim.
He is a big fella, 6'9" and 285, and that's about 25 pounds down from last year. But they need him tonight. Kevin Bannon does, with Rashad Kent not playing tonight because of the flu. He didn't practice today. They hoped he would be able to play tonight, but he's just not able to go.
And how about that? Nice little touch by Kareem, and knock it down.
Now Griffin at the point for Syracuse.
And go over the top on the high pick and roll because Griffin can hide and drill it.
Comes McNeil again. Griffin trying to get by Billey. Might have walked, but we've got a foul.
They shouldn't have reached in. He had good position there, Todd. Unfortunately, the aggressive play, Griffith, the transform scoring guard to the point position as Kevin looks on, a point guard himself.
Griffin was a point guard in high school. Then when he got to Syracuse, of course, Jason Hart was the incumbent. And as a sophomore, Griffin started every game of the season at shooting guard. Then last year, they switched him back to point guard, where he backed up hard, and now Jim Boeheim has him starting at the point.
He's having a good time, folks. Julie, he's really a bundle of laughs. We had 10, 15 minutes of sleeping time chatting with Jimmy before the game, Dan and myself.
We're number 10 in the country.
I know, you wouldn't know it talking to him. A little scissor cut off the top.
Greer can hit the deep one. Not this time. But underneath the rebound and the putback for the big fella, Kareem Wright, and he is some kind of pumped up.
I'll tell you, Kevin Bannon said we've got to offensive rebound. It's so important against this team. Good job.
And rebounding so far this season has been one of the strengths of Rutgers and one of the weaknesses of Syracuse. There's one of the strengths of Syracuse, Preston Shumpert.
How about that with the lean and looking to his right to make sure it couldn't be blocked.
Billett off the screen. He doesn't need much to get a shot off. Here's Exani, the left-hander, has it blocked by Brown. Numbers for the Orangemen.
Pretty.
The lob for Shumpert, and he lays it in.
How about that nice rearrangement? A lot of guys would have tried to jam it. Get the deuce. Terrific look by Alan Griffith.
4 straight points for Shumpert, and the Orangemen lead by 2.
Side pick and roll, and on the weak side, they run some nice stuff off the ball.
McNeil reaching around right to take it away.
And Wright wisely doesn't get fouled or go after him.
Well, you've got 6'8", 260, and 6'9", 285 into the basket tonight.
It's tilting.
Brown, he's had some huge games in the last couple of weeks. Exani rips down the rebound.
You mentioned Exani, he's played terrific the last few games, and watching tape, this gives him a little bit of everything. Eventually that scoring will come around that year off, and then the confidence in the summer leagues. Non-shooting, I believe.
Alan Griffin running into Todd Billett.
Well, you always see some excitement over the years at Syracuse. The negation and now the run out. How about this one, Dan? Go up and get that one, huh? Nice little handle at the end. Smart play, too, by Preston Shumpert.
Found a variety of ways to score. Not just a three-point shooter anymore.
There's that flash, the high-low. That's been open. Tennessee sort of exploited it early in the year.
Now Greer gets a good look, won't stay down, and Shumpert with a good rebound. That's something else he does. He's averaging almost 6 a game. Griffin the lob again, and that's, I think we need Richard Jefferson of Arizona to bring that one down.
Somebody in that league, huh? Dominique Wilkins might be another one to get up there, and Michael as well.
Yeah, although Brown's not far off. He can get up there with the best of them.
We saw him play terrific against Notre Dame. I thought he was solid.
He had 26 points, 13 rebounds to Brown against Notre Dame, matching his career high in both departments. What a crossover by Deshaun Williams.
My goodness. Timmy Hardaway-like. A little give and take.
6 straight points for Syracuse and a 4-point lead. All 4 points for Rutgers, surprisingly enough, coming from Kareem Wright. Here he is again.
Get it to him. And look at the follow-through like Senator Bill Bradley down the road in his Princeton days.
Sometimes through misfortune, you find something you didn't know you had. And maybe Kevin Bannon's onto something here.
Saying Rashad who?
8-6 Syracuse.
McNeil trying to post up, and that's the one thing, right? May not have foul problems unless on dribble drives.
Griffin finds McNeil and James at home as Wright had to leave his man to come stop the dribble.
Toughest weapon to stop. The dribble drive.
Again, a 4-point lead for the Orangemen. Both of these schools in the West Division of the Big East, so they'll face each other a couple of times. Billett shot away off. And Wright to steal.
I thought he was going to take it all the way.
Hold on, big fella. Going to be out of bounds, and it will stay over the Rutgers as we come to our first time out of the night. Good pace to start this one, and Kareem Wright keeping the Scarlet Knights close. Good passing, though, by Syracuse, enabling them to lead by 4.
ESPN and ESPN2, home of the women's and
Next game tonight on ESPN2 is an Atlantic 10 battle as the Bonnies travel down to Fordham to take on Bob Hill's Rams, who have already beaten St. John's this year. And in his next day straighter, Tim McCormick will have the call for you after our game tonight here on ESPN2. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
And Jimmy Barron, a New Yorker, with Bonnies, a real good start early in the year. Now league play starts. They find out a lot about themselves. And Bob Hill, how about them being St. John's?
I know. I used to do games with Bob Hill.
Did you really?
Yes, he ventured north of the border for some games a couple of years ago.
Wavy hair. Were you envious?
I'm envious of yours. I'm envious of anybody's.
You don't even care about wavy.
That's right. Another block inside for McNeil, his second already.
And good balance.
Shumpert to a wide-open Deshaun Williams. 3 not there. Rebound, Damone Brown tapped back in by McNeil, and both of the fill-in big men are having a big impact on this game early.
McNeil in the right spot, running the floor beautifully, and just stay out of foul problems, nothing silly. Good fill and good coverage on the baseline.
Right, thinking about it, just not quite confident enough in that mid-range jump shot, although he's hit one tonight.
See, now the overload's not occurring.
And Zanny gets the roll, and that's the first player other than Wright to score for Rutgers tonight.
Now you can see they get the ball at the foul line. Then the dilemma starts. They've covered it real well. But Rutgers may have to slip somebody behind the baseline people.
6 minutes in, Syracuse by 4. Shumpert, a tremendous start to this season. The MVP up in Alaska. The Orangemen won the Great Alaska Shootout, beating DePaul, Ohio State, and Missouri. 3 quality wins, and Shumpert scored 78 points in those 3 games.
And then just the other day, 20 against Pitt in a tough game out there.
Backing down in Greer. Greer the block. Shumpert again. And a tie-up is the call, and the arrow will send it over to Rutgers.
Now they're saying the ball was dead on both hands. So he pushed that one just a little bit too far defensively. A collective group of Rutgers guys, and Wright on the just terrific start for Kareem.
Eugene Dabney is coming to the game at number 5 for Rutgers, replacing Zanny. Dabney was a starter at the beginning of the season, and then was suspended for Rutgers' last game against Notre Dame for attitude issues that their coaching players say are all behind them now.
Cuse with a little man-to-man. So you see that cropping up mid-season, don't you? With difficulties.
Now Dabney throws it away. 3-on-2 for Syracuse. Williams back to Brown, and he'll lay it home.
That's as pretty a play as you'll see in the open floor. They made a fast break out of that with unselfish play.
Damone Brown at 6'9", can handle the ball, can shoot it, can pass it, and once you get him around the basket, you just can't do anything with it. Nearly stolen by Williams.
That's one of the problems when you rotate the ball with the big guy. They're not as good with the basketball, but a fast break, Cuse style. Brown backs it off solidly, and the extra pass back. Little kiss at the end. That's great coordination.
Rutgers has to try and get some shots for Todd Billett, but he's being blanketed right now. Here's Wright inside, gets it back, and a foul. He is working hard.
He sure is. Big, strong frame under there. They couldn't get around him. Basically, what you mentioned, Billett, I think he wears on. He's got to keep himself active. And here's the big fella taking it to the archman. He is a force to reckon with. But getting back to Billett, as the game progresses, the defense has a tendency to back up because he uses picks, particularly in man-to-man, so well, keeps himself active, and he's also improved with the dribble.
He's had a 37-point game this year and a 36-point game this year. But then right after those games, he had a real shooting slump that he now appears to have come out of.
Now, who do you think's better, his brother?
You know, we were talking about that today. Well, they were talking about that today because I asked both of them who wins the games of one-on-one. I thought I was going to have to get between them.
Oh, my, there he is. Now he's winning the game because he can tell them what to do. Forget your records. They're all going to be gone.
Right. Jeff played the 4 years immediately preceding Todd's arrival here at Rutgers, and now Jeff is back for his first year as an assistant coach. And it looks good to see him back in this program.
Just a great kid, great family as well.
Williams, Wright the rebound. It's all Kareem Wright.
It sure is, and the defense has been terrific in the half court.
Rutgers leading the Big Eastern defense right now, averaging just about 61, 62 points per game by the opposition. They've only allowed 80 points once in 14 games.
They're rotating people now. Williams on Todd, you can see just fresh body, being very active and physical when they can.
Timeout on the floor. Syracuse on the road with an early 4-point lead. And the locker that big brother Jeff had for his 4 years right before Todd got here. Two of the great performers in recent memory in Rutgers basketball. Big brother Jeff, little brother Todd, and head coach Kevin Bannon. He has trouble putting into words how much the Billets have meant to this basketball program.
That would be so difficult to even put into words. What these two young men and their parents, for that matter, have meant to our program is incredible. You just couldn't have better leaders. You couldn't have better diplomats. They get it done in the classroom. They're wonderful with people inside the program, outside the program, in the community. And then on the court, you know, they're going to go down as two of the best guards to ever put on a Rutgers uniform. So it's a real special time for me. I know that. I'm enjoying every moment of it.
Now, big brother Jeff is the school's record holder in most made three-pointers, and as Jeff said to Todd today, that record might fall by the time Todd is done.
It's so easy to coach guys like that. I mean, you don't have any nice penetration, a quick, easy go by Greer. Little overdrive.
Greer with the extra gear on his way to the basket, and it's back to a two-point game.
Syracuse missed an easy opportunity there. The left hand by Cole, a tough shot to make. But you get the ball that close, your defense is breaking down.
Shumpert is bumped by Mike Thompson, who has checked into the game for Rutgers.
Well, the open floor is something that Greer enjoys. He can spot up for the three, but look at this explosion. And just nobody at home. That's not typical Syracuse. You got to beat that zone down once in a while and get some easy ones.
Silky smooth, and maybe doesn't do any one particular thing that jumps out at you, but he does everything well, Jeff Greer.
Well, his, I think, growth is something. He wasn't as recruited as some other people. Just enjoys playing the game. With Dwayne in the game, now he's a guy they want to get more shots than listening to Jimmy earlier.
Syracuse has gone small. Jeremy McNeil went to the bench about a minute ago with his second foul. Ethan Cole came in, and he only lasted about 45 seconds before he went out. Tough one off the glass for Alan Griffin. So Syracuse has gone with a lineup that Jim Boeheim used out of necessity in the second half against Pittsburgh on the weekend. They pressed like crazy, forced turnovers, and it helped them come back from a 16-point deficit to beat the Panthers.
Well, nice little footwork here by Dabney, but that's the one thing you have to be concerned. You saw Rutgers working today. The press with these little guys.
And Rutgers has gone a little bit small as well as Todd Billett gets on the board. Kareem Wright has gone out. So both teams with a very small lineups, especially by Big East standards right now.
And here a lapse, too, as Brown gets an easy look. They weren't attentive. And with that last goal by Billett, that's the area he's gotten better. Getting into the 3-second lane and knocking it down or dumping it off.
4-point lead for Syracuse. It's been about the spread for most of this game. Now 10 minutes in.
Here's the little stack set. Now they pop out Billett, try and get him on the curl.
Griffin on the line. And Jim Boeheim changing up his defense. He's having trouble just getting a hold of the ball, even 25 feet from the basket. And now reaching in to commit the foul is Griffin.
And that's the problem. A lot of teams are sort of doubling. So many talented guards on occasions. Griffith gets 2. You chase him, I mean, he'll make you pay.
Jim Boeheim really can't afford to see his team get into foul trouble. This is not a deep Syracuse team at all. And as Mike Sherrod comes back in for Rutgers, and now a change for the Orangemen as well. This is James Theus, who is a freshman from Detroit coming into the game. Now because Griffin's got 2 fouls.
And then you mentioned the man-to-man. I think Jimmy Boeheim's a better man-to-man coach. But the 2-3 is something that's been distracting. It's gotten them a lot of miles. And it's effective, but they work hard on their man-to-man.
They're back into it now. Billett gets free, and the 3 is there.
Can't leave him alone. He gets the puppy set, catch, and shoot guy.
5 points for Billett, and Rutgers back within 1. Both teams shooting at or near 50% right now. Baseline, Queth Duaney gets inside.
Not too bad, huh? Took a hit. You thin guy. Now, they're getting easy looks, though. Rutgers is getting shots like this that you're tough to continually make.
Billett to miss, and Brown brings it down into the hands of Theus. Good quickness. Neither one of these coaches will really want to go more than 7 or 8 deep, especially with each team having a player out. Seelig for Syracuse with academics, and Kent for Rutgers because of the flu. Almost turned over. Now officially turned over.
You think he was looking to call timeout for a second, maybe?
Thinking about it.
Yeah. And a pretty good gather by Williams on the baseline. A local guy at a Patterson Catholic, Deshaun Williams.
Kevin Gannon said we need the win. We've had the moral victories. We've had the tough losses on the road. They played Villanova tough. They played Notre Dame tough, but they need the W right now.
I'll give you another one. Florida.
Yes.
I mean, late in the game, they expanded the lead, but they played very well. These turnovers lead to your demise. Send it in. Preston.
If you look back at the Orangemen's last 2 games in conference, they were outshot and out-rebounded by both Notre Dame and Pittsburgh, but they won both games because of turnovers. They're taking very good care of the ball, and they are creating turnovers like crazy. Now held the ball, send it back over to Syracuse.
Yeah, once you get under the glass, there's not much you can do. You got to look for help or call for help. And here's that gamble on the wing, and you can see that back line is open if they take advantage, but they're going to gamble out there. You've got to fill on that short corner. Preston with one hand with a little splash.
Shumpert now with 6, averaging 21. That's 4th in the conference right now. Duaney with the easy putback, and now the Orangemen have their largest lead of the night.
You know the shot charts coaches have all around the hole. Yeah, boy, that helps your percentage.
Kareem Wright back into the game for Rutgers. He's got 8 early points to already match his career high.
Now that's exactly that. Pass to right is what they have to do. They stretch the D, slide behind.
Sherrod with good wheels, and it won't roll in for him. Zanny wanted to tip it in, but didn't want to touch it on the cylinder.
He is excited. The slasher, Kevin calls him. Very confident with the pill.
Duaney free, and he's got Wright on him. And Wright commits the foul. This is one of the problems for Kevin Bannon. He wants the big guy in there, but who does he cover? Because there are no big guys on the floor for Syracuse.
He went out there to play him. He's at that disadvantage with the dribble. He almost ought to zone it up out there. Don't go out, just stay in the lane and help his partners out. But once he roams outside, you can see the puppies, the belly ride, almost like surfing. Can't get them to work.
Duaney starting to play a lot more and become more of a factor for the Orangemen. You saw his numbers, 5.4 points per game, but he's over 8 points per game in his last 5, getting some quality minutes.
Now, Jimmy's trying to extend the bench a little bit, too. You saw Cole come in. They got the timeout coming, just trying to get a little deeper.
Duaney 1 of 2. Syracuse by 8. 7:12 to go first half. On the left, Robert Mulcahy, the athletic director here at Rutgers. And on the right is the new football coach, Greg Schiano, who has some big plans and apparently getting a lot of the Jersey kids to stay at home, which the football program definitely wants and needs. And there, folks, is one of the cult heroes and one of the most entertaining and enjoyable players to have rolled through this program in recent years, Joel Salvi, who instant energy and as much of a fan favorite as I can think of in this conference.
They just love to see him, and it's good to see him around, too. A lot of juice when he walked in the building. But getting back to football, Bob Mulcahy has brought a guy in they feel can get New Jersey recruits. And
right underneath, and he draws another foul. Oh, he's making the most of that opportunity to start with Rashad Kent out with the flu. Wright steps into the starting lineup, and all he needs is one more point. He's got a new career high already.
And the big fella they got to stay out of foul problems, Dan. It's so important that you look at that reaction. But just to finish the thought on the football, Bob O'Kay became the athletic director, and he decided, hey, let's get Jersey kids.
Yep.
They went out and brought in a new coach, as you mentioned, and all of a sudden Greg has gotten commitments from some of the top players in the state. They feel they've got the program in the right direction.
How about this? Kareem Wright comes into the game tonight at 41% free throw shooting, 9 of 22. He's 6 for 6 tonight and already has 10 points and 4 rebounds.
Well, you need guys to step up and make plays, and that's what it's all about. And you mentioned, Kevin said, we've got to win one, and that's how you do it. Guys playing a look. Gamble here, got to cover. Pretty dish.
Dwayne on the baseline.
Oh, up big and quick. The Gamble. You put the pressure on everybody. You got to use good judgment out that far from the basket.
7 for Dwayne, making the most of his minutes off the bench against Syracuse with this very small lineup. Damone Brown at 6'9", 205, anchoring the middle of that zone. Theus nearly forced the turnover. Good hustle by Greer. Shot clock did not reset. And now a trip's going to be called on Preston Shumpert.
That's one of those fouls you got to call, you don't want to call. Get the legs tangled up. But a lot of scrapping. You can just see Syracuse so confident that they can gamble further out on the floor. Guys playing the passing lanes. And Greer makes a great effort here. May have gotten fouled as well. But a nice give by Billett. And right there, the little trip up, unfortunately for Syracuse, gets the nickel dimer on Shumpert.
There's the previous basket to Shauna Williams to Dwayne. Look out. Sherrod gets called for the foul as Shumpert stepped in. And Sherrod, I think inadvertently, just swung his elbow up near his face.
Well, you've got to be ready for that trap. Below the foul line, Syracuse does a great job on the inbounds pass. You're better off going out to half court. Don't let the basketball in that corner because they jam it up and then play that rotation guy.
Syracuse by 8. Rutgers has already committed 6 turnovers to just 3 for the Orangemen. And remember, that's been a big factor in Syracuse's success, is forcing more. Now there they turn it over themselves as Brown travels.
And, Shumpert's a little annoyed because he had set his man up down in the lane for a lob down to the box.
Changes for the Orangemen. Jeremy McNeil and Alan Griffin both return. Both now playing with 2 fouls.
And I guess they feel in the zone they won't get another one. But this is where you got to attack inside somehow. Either with the dribble down the lane or that high-low pass across. There's the high-low. They just don't get it in. Good hands.
Sherrod definitely with the wheels to at least attempt dribble penetration. Good feed inside. And Dabney can't hit the 8-footer. Boy, he had a good look.
Sure did.
Griffin. Ooh, got it out of there.
Oh.
Look at this. Wow.
Come on. Give me a smile, Preston. Did he think he didn't have a dribble left? Oh, my.
Wow. He should get 4 for that. Now Billett tries to answer with one that's almost as long and just as good.
All we need is Joe Crispin in the building now. The next one will be from half court.
9 for Shumpert, 8 for Billett. 2 of the real long-range bombers in this conference.
And Jimmy Boeheim furious they didn't get up on Billett.
Dwayne into traffic. Offensive foul on Dwayne. That will be his 2nd foul.
Well, a little rat-tat-tat-tat-tat, huh? Quick jacks. How about this? They control the dribble. How far would you say?
Wow,
I think 27, 28?
Yeah.
Huh?
He's out there, and Billett's only maybe a foot or 2 closer than Shumpert was.
The strength you need, the fluidity on your release. That's why they hit the weight room.
Syracuse by 8.
There's that trap situation now.
That's in a bad spot, but made a good play.
I got another one.
Nowhere to go. Go to the basket.
Just 2 attempts, couldn't convert.
He got it back.
Well, step back now. Look at him. Is he enjoying this exposure?
He has half of Rutgers' points. He's a sophomore who never before has had more than 8 points in a game, and he's got a dozen in the first half tonight.
Kevin mentioned offensively he's not quite there. He's getting there, isn't he?
I think Rashad Kent's starting to feel a little bit better, too, don't you?
Yeah,
he wants to get back here.
They really need him for rotation, but he's involved in that play, too. Well, we mentioned Salvi. They'd be in the juice. Well, all of a sudden, the big fella. Oh, my goodness. A little close. Is he having a ball, too? I knew there'd be days like this.
Dabney look inside right. Good hands. No call.
Said all ball. Now he's got to be careful. A little fatigue, you get fouls. And they go the other way, and a good call, too.
Is it Shumpert?
No, McNeil with the discard. You mentioned the crew, Teddy Valentine right on top of it.
Number 3.
You got to keep the arms in, and that's the inexperience that, I don't want to say it prevails, but it pops up.
You look at the 3 centers that Syracuse has used this year. Billy Seelig commits a foul every 7 minutes. McNeil commits a foul every 5 minutes, and Ethan Cole commits a foul every 3 minutes.
So there you just saw the end of that where he fouled. Yeah, the difficulty is keeping the big guys on the floor. And Billy Seelig getting back to his contribution. And talking to Jimmy, you look at the stat sheet, he's having the night.
Remarkable.
Oh, it is just extraordinary.
Yeah, go ahead.
41%. Yeah. But Billy Seelig, you take the stat sheet and you look at Billy Seelig and you go, well, see, he didn't get too many rebounds or maybe a block shot. 6, 7 points. But picking, screening, getting guys free. And you know what? Jimmy says if they start trusting him a little more, he thinks he's a terrific shooter.
Back within 4 of the 10th ranked team of the country, Syracuse. It's 30-26 for the Orange. Kareem Wright with 14 points to lead the Scarlet Knights. And we've got some real strong bloodlines in this game with Todd and Jeff Billett, now player and coach for Rutgers. Jeff Greer's brother, Ricardo's a star with Pittsburgh. Danny Hurley, now an assistant coach here at Rutgers, of course, part of one of the great college basketball families, Bobby from Duke. And Kareem Wright, it's not immediate family, but he's got a baseball player cousin and a football player cousin.
So, now they're going to be bragging about him as a cousin.
That's right.
You mentioned Danny Hurley, great family. Dad, just one of the great coaches in the history of New Jersey athletics in the annals of the game at St. Anthony's. Of course, Bobby, a legend during his playing days at both at St. Anthony's and Duke. And Danny, tell you what, Kevin Bannon can't say nicer things about his ability as a coach. And to stand up here, they give it to Billett. I thought it was pretty good defense.
Might be away from the ball.
Rutgers personnel number 3.
Oh, you are right.
It is Mike Sherrod. As you get a look, I think we're supposed to call him Dan Hurley now that he's coaching.
Oh, really? Now that he's a daddy?
Yeah, I don't think he's a Danny anymore.
Well, see, our area, you always put the Y and the IE on there.
Right.
Tony, Danny.
We'll ask him. Foul was on Sherrod. Kareem Wright's on the bench, by the way. And they slough off Duaney a little bit.
Big advantage here. Just turn and good help. Good read by Dabney. Causes the walk.
You can see why Rutgers has some very good defensive numbers, although they're not off to a great start this season. Boy, they work their tails off on that end of the floor.
They sure do. Restrict the field goal percentage, hold the points down, and a nice read that time by Dabney. Eugene, ready.
Back into the 2-3. They've been in man a little bit tonight. Dabney. Oh, how did he find room in there? But then he missed another short one and then reaches in to commit the frustration foul.
Oh, that's a shame. He had made a nice cut. His mistake was he should have come back to where he had come from. One of those deals. He went to where the traffic was. And this drop step now, he had the whole side to extend. And then the step through, which was a pretty good play, but unable to convert.
First on Dabney, the 6th team foul. Kevin Bannon thinks he's got quite a bit of upside, but never quite knows what he's going to get from him from game to game. And that's one of the reasons, attitude, work ethic, that he was suspended for the last game against Notre Dame. Griffin by Billett. The floater is good. He is tough once he decides to get into the lane.
And he's got great body control, too. He's got a good presence out there, has a good feel and condition as well.
6 for Griffin. He's averaging just under 10.
Look at Rutgers. They don't knock you out, but they're just so steady. Good pass, but look at the zone. They just attack. It's got to be quick decision.
I'll tell you, comparing this game to the one we did last week when Notre Dame played Syracuse, Rutgers is getting into the middle of that zone with a lot more ease than Notre Dame could. But then it's that second pass or the slow move to the basket. By that time, you got 3 orange jerseys on.
Now here's the play. You got to get it out by half court so they don't trap. Yeah, the reaction has to be a little quicker offensively against the zone. Nice dish. Ooh, the foot.
Yeah. Damone Brown got in there with a leg. Now it's a 4-on-1, and Alan Griffin lays it in.
Great decision right away. Kevin Bannon knows a little slippage. The interior pass at the other end didn't work. And the other team that played them well, the zone was Tennessee. They got it to Slay in the middle. He could finish.
The only loss for the Orangemen this year. Here they lead by 8.
In a new world.
Cool outfit. Slamming outfit.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. Brian Kennedy, Jay Billis here. It's the Super 8 halftime report. Your thoughts? I mean, it was a big lead, whittled down a little bit.
Well, Rutgers is a good team, especially when they play at the rack, but you really have to be impressed with Syracuse. This is a basketball team that is very effective in spreading the floor. They've got 4 guys that can put it down and get by you, and they are very poised. They've got 2 pros out there, I think, in Preston Shumpert and Damone Brown. Preston Shumpert is very poised with the basketball. He gets his shot off quickly, averages 21 points a game. He's always the guy, I think, first that you have to stop when you go against Syracuse. This is an underrated basketball team. They call them the donut team because they don't really have a center, but what they have around that donut is awfully effective.
A lot of things to talk about here at the half in college basketball. Rick Majerus, Rick Pitino, things going on. Also, we'll check in on the Big Ten. We'll take a break right now. Ooh, how do the Hoosiers bounce back after that?
Kareem Wright, they really stepped it up.
It's a small game except for Kareem. He has just been wonderful to watch. Exuberant, involved in the game, going to him at key times. But I don't understand, Kevin. Man, you got to get this guy jump shots. Kareem killing him. 15, 10 foot. And then the emotion, which is just terrific to watch. But the defense, at the Cuse, and the run out. And this is their game. The open floor over the years, scintillating. But it all starts with good, solid defense. The 2-3 zone, Dan, it's effective for a lot of reasons. 1, the length. 2, they face out and they're ready to burn you in the open floor.
Jim Boeheim told us before the game, if we want to win, we have to make shots. And right now they're making shots, 56%. Also out-rebounding the Scarlet Knights. But they've got to find a way to slow down Kareem Wright in the middle. A guy, a sophomore, who had a previous career high of 8 points, had 14 in the first half tonight. And if Rutgers can find somebody else, Greer or Billett, and get them hot, they're going to make this awfully tough on the Orangemen.
Did you hear the halftime talk? Nice penetration by Griffith. That's where he's tough. Not a good release at the end of it. Could you imagine Boeheim saying to Bernie Fine, how about this scouting report? You didn't tell me anything about Kareem Wright, Bernie. Bernie will blame Mike Hopkins and so on.
And down the road it goes. 6-point lead for the Orangemen to open the second half. By the way, I spoke to Joel Salvi at halftime. He just graduated last semester, and he's looking to play overseas. As Greer launches the 3. And perhaps ominously, for some, he's a journalism graduate and wants to get into broadcasting when he's done playing. So watch your back.
I hear he likes play-by-play myself. Nice pass. Once again, the ability, the length of the defenders at Syracuse create the turnover. You think it's a lane or a pass, and they negate it.
McNeil starting the second half with 3 fouls for the Orangemen. Griffin off the glass, no good. McNeil the rebound. Yep, Bob Donato agrees with you.
I don't know why he bounced the ball instead of pumping and going up strong. And Jimmy Boeheim saying the same thing over there. And here's the penetration twice. Now they've been able to get opportunities with the dribble, but unfortunately a little hop step cost the Cuse.
Nice pass inside to Ixani. Gets it back and has it blocked. And that is now at least 3 layups that Rutgers has missed, and that's the difference in this game.
Well, finishing plays. Another tough little release here.
Brown on the weak side, blocked by Ixani. Redshirt freshman in this last year with a broken foot. Greer, a lot of contact with Shumpert, but no call.
Look at the run out again off the miss.
Brown unselfishly to Griffin, and he'll draw the foul on Jeff Greer.
Now down the other end, Greer got into traffic. A little run in the middle. Sherrod thought he was free. I don't think he should have passed the ball. But once in a while, you got to eat the ball in traffic, particularly an active hands team like Syracuse.
Just the first on Greer. Kevin Bannon had big-time hopes for this team coming into this season. Dante Jones, their best player last year, unexpectedly transferred to Duke. Hervé Lamazana, a 6'10 player that Jeff Billett was telling me just has a world of ability. He's academically ineligible. They hope to have him next year. And then a 6'11 player from Latvia, Kaspars Cyprus, who had committed to play here, eventually decided to stay in Europe and play professionally. And Kevin Bannon said if those three players were here, they'd all be starters. So you can see how different this team is.
And they're excited about the recruiting.
Yes.
Rod Baker, the associate head coach. I was teasing him about the new title. Now they feel they can get it turned around. Get some solid recruits in.
Sherrod has it knocked away by McNeil. Well, they've got 3 freshmen coming in next year. And look at Rod Baker, the associate head coach. And also Lamazana, they hope, is eligible. They've got a transfer from VCU, Sean Hampton, and they've got another scholarship to give. So Kevin Bannon says, come back and visit us next year. We'll have a much different team, and they're hoping that this year they can scrap their way to enough wins that there's a good feeling going into next season.
Well, the difficulty, I think, this evening has been around the rim getting shots blocked. You got to find the passing lane and giving somebody your pump fake.
Greer gets inside all the way, and challenging him and committing the foul is McNeil. That's going to be his 4th. And Jim Boeheim's over on the Syracuse bench standing there with his hands straight up in the air saying, just stand there. You're a big guy.
Well, you notice they found the answer, and the answer has been a pass or a dribble drive. And Greer, undeterred, very confident as he gets to the rim. Now, what that could do is get some three-point shots for Billett and or Greer on occasion.
He's also going to get McNeil out of the game. Queth Duaney ready to check back in. We saw Ethan Cole for less than a minute in the first half, the other big man for Syracuse. But here comes this small lineup again for the Orangemen. Eugene Dabney is back into the game for Rutgers.
And that's sort of your worst fear when you walk by the coach and he says, come sit by me. After he's taken down. Right. You know, you get it. Look at this leak out. You don't get back. You get paid. Good. Footwork, speed, Queth Duaney.
He's got 9 off the bench.
Well, that 10-2 fast break edge in the first half, you can just see those easier points keep you in control.
Big 10-point lead right now for Syracuse. For most of the first half, it was at 2, it was at 4, back and forth, but Rutgers never able to get right over the hump.
Here's that trap. Now, they get it in the hands of a ball handler that can't make plays, and that's the difficulty. Dabney gets it in the corner. But the one thing that Syracuse does, they know how to stick it in. The opportunity presents itself. This should not be a fast break, but the heads are turned incorrectly. They don't get back and balance the floor, and the Cuse makes you pay.
Brown at the foul line. A bump with Dabney. Griffin gets a screen, gets inside.
Good day.
Clean block. Numbers now for Rutgers. Hey, you and I both thought they haven't had that much tonight.
They have not. You know what? That was not a bad foul either. The giveaway. Yeah, Damone Brown was the one that gave it away. This penetration, you get in too deep with the big fellas, and now all of a sudden Billett thinks he's got one going the other way, and he's still going to go. He hasn't been able to do that too often.
No. Big brother Jeff says he can get on little brother Tom. Blocked from behind by Deshaun Williams.
Again, 3-on-2.
And the feed to Damone Brown, who floats in effortlessly to lay it in. And now Syracuse has its largest lead of the night, and Rutgers needs a timeout.
The speed, the impact of getting in the lane. They out-sprint it, and even Jimmy Boeheim's got a smile. And they've got so many open floor opportunities that it decimates the defense. You can just see back Billett unable to stop both size-wise and coverage-wise. And Rutgers unable to get the numbers to identify. How about the body control on that little kiss? Release.
Well, for all you Syracuse fans out there, you won't want to miss this. Saturday on ESPN Classic, it's 9 hours of Orangemen. It starts at noon with Sports Century's look at Jim Brown. Then at 1 Eastern, 1985, Pearl in the orange against Ewing and the Hoyas. There are 2 basketball games and 2 football games, including West Virginia and Syracuse from 1987. That's at 7 Eastern time Saturday. To order ESPN Classic, dial 1-800-CLASSIC or call your cable provider.
And Dan Shulman, imagine asking Jimmy Boeheim, who never really overpraises anybody. I think Jim Brown's a great football player. His reaction would be, he's all right. This fair.
You know what? He gave you a warning.
I know he did. Julie's listening.
He gave you a gentle warning.
A nudge.
Damone Brown for 2 more.
And he gave him a gentle warning. You get free, knock it down. And right now, Rutgers having so many problems just getting back and forcing some half-court offense.
Brown played in the shadows of players like Etan Thomas, Jason Hart, Ryan Blackwell, as Dabney on the feed from Billy.
Now they ought to ride that. That's been effective for Greer and/or Billy.
Syracuse trying to snap a 2-game losing streak here. Lost here in 1999 and again in 98. These two teams will meet again in a couple of weeks up at Carrier Dome. And Deshaun Williams with a 3.
And that's one of those subtle little plays, a stagger quickly. And they didn't run stuff on the opposite side and then get the stagger. You got to be prepared.
Sherrod. He had a big game against Notre Dame quiet tonight. Beautiful feed to Dabney and a foul. And after missing a couple of relatively easy opportunities, Dabney made a tough one to look easy there.
I think Kevin's done a nice job now. No question that timeout. He said, guys, we got to put it on the floor and be creative. It's happened 3 times into the thick and nice deft giveaway there. And using the rim to ward off Eugene Dabney.
The foul on Queth Duaney, his 3rd. Dabney to the line. Started the first 4 games of the year, but Kevin Bannon has had to change his starting lineup around because of some injuries, academics, just trying to find some fresh bodies. Dabney completes the 3-point play and will step aside with Syracuse up a dozen.
ESPN and ESPN2, home of the Women's NCAA Championship.
Oh, man, what a game. A war.
Haywood, one of the youngsters enjoying this game, but Brendan Haywood stepping up after a tough one against Georgia Tech, right? And right now, it's been the ability to get out in the open floor by the Cuse. And Rutgers not getting back and forcing them to play half court. That's gotten them in this little bit of a hole, Rutgers.
Williams with a step and threw it right through the hands of Duaney.
A little too much heat maybe, but a good idea, good conceptually.
You know, the funny thing about this team that Jim Boeheim has is they weren't ranked at all before the season. And Boeheim actually said, I think we've got a chance to be pretty good. But losing Etan Thomas and Ryan Blackwell and Jason Hart, not big expectations for this team. And here they are 13-1 and 10th in the country.
But now that they're good, he's denying it.
Yes.
That's he's taking the 5th on his clock. Look opposite.
Billy. And he gets it. 45-35.
Coming at him with a different look. They got away from the dribble that time. A little post up on the foul line.
Billet now with 10. Off the screen comes Williams, and he's strong in the paint.
He gets that turn. That was a strict double screen on the baseline, and you can see not real good defense by Rutgers that trip.
Back to a 12-point lead for Syracuse.
Here's the overload. Try and get between defenders. That's what they do with the dribble as well.
Baseline, Billet. You know, he was going to pass that ball, and then he decided to shoot it, and the rebound is tapped home.
You know what? He had strung himself out, so he couldn't get the right spin on the ball. That's why I think go down.
Rutgers hanging around.
Same play.
Williams is making Sherrod work. Duaney on the baseline, and he's fouled by Dabney.
And that was all Williams. I mean, Deshaun with the footwork, the use of the bounce at the end. They run the double on the one side, and then he fills on the other, and the dribble here. The little slip to the goal, and Queth unable to finish, and that's a result of maybe not that much strength because he got the nice turn. But here's that play, and as he's straight, you're right, he was going to pass. He just had the incorrect English because he was going to pass the basketball.
Foul on Dabney is his 3rd as Duaney hits the 1st. Duaney has really been the extent of the bench production for either team here tonight. He's now got 11 points. Good pump. And Billet for 3. Dabney tried to tap it back, couldn't convert.
Eugene, gotta make it.
They have had some opportunities. Griffin inside. It'll drop.
And there's that strength. Resting his shoulder on the defender. Look at this one-man fast break.
Sherrod with wheels.
He does have some hops, quickness.
51-39. Rutgers is going for an extended stretch here without Kareem Wright, who was their best player in the first half. Small lineups for both teams.
The matchup is the problem. I think when Kevin has him out. And the turnover here, no, they give it back to the Cuse, and Eugene begging.
Valentine without a lot of sympathy. Oh, yeah. Now he's asking for help, is he?
Well, he looked around. I think it's one of those that he held him, so I'm giving him a break.
Shot clock at 7. It's going to be Griffin in a travel.
Shouldn't be in a hurry. I mean, even when you get down to 6-5, the zone's going to give you a chance with a flash to the post.
Easy to say from up here, huh?
Yeah, it is. I think you want to make a play. When you start rolling into your move, just to accentuate a little bit.
Isn't it different, by the way, to do a game from an elevated position? This is one of the few buildings where we're not down at courtside. We're about 12 rows up, but it's a different game.
You do see it all. Yeah. You think coaches should go up here? I think the refs would like him up here. That's not opposite.
Dabney a little bit indecisive when he gets the ball in there. Now he knows what he wants to do. And a drop.
With the kiss, Eugene. Able to take that hit. He's getting the ball on that elbow, Dan. And the dilemma is maybe he's doing the right thing. Don't do anything complex to turn it over. Here he takes the hit and keeps on taking with the kiss.
He has 7 points in the game, and all of them have come in the second half.
Big guys have stepped up nicely in the absence of Kent.
Kent's just a load inside, too. Averaging a double-double, second in the Big East in rebounding. Good hands, too.
He positions himself. He occupies people. He's tough to get around. He competes.
Timeout for Syracuse. A similar pattern developing in this game as we saw in Rutgers' last couple of games. Fall behind and then try to claw back into it. And they're not a gifted offensive team. So a 9-point deficit for them is like a 19-point deficit for some other Big East teams.
And then also Syracuse counters with an easy goal on occasion. Puts them in a little bit of a deeper hole. But they have found different ways of beating the zone now. I mean, they've been very effective on most offensive trips.
There we are.
Oh.
There we are. We're up high, but it's nice, as you can see.
I'm high on New Jersey.
Yeah.
There it is.
Beats the old days when we used to have to run up and down to do the on cameras at halftime. Now they go
or the interviews, which I still have to do.
That's right. You should have.
But I've lost in this building, so I'm not that high on this building myself.
Tomorrow night on ESPN Classic, it's an instant classic. It's last week's Orange Bowl. Take another look at Oklahoma's tremendous defensive effort against Florida State, bringing the Sooners the national championship. College football classics every Wednesday at 9 Eastern, only on ESPN Classic.
You've been down at Duke upstairs, too, right?
Yes, yeah. Well, that's like an obstacle course to get up there.
Well, they don't have air conditioning, but they don't put it on when you're in town.
Duane.
That's the hit.
Boy, he has had an impact on this game, and Jim Boeheim really needs that extra body or two he could rely upon off the bench.
You know what Jimmy does with his teams over the year? He gives them great confidence, Dan. I mean, you may look at the material. Sherman Douglas, one of his great guards, the toughest they are is when people don't expect much. I mean, that's really a great analysis of his program.
And that's the case this year. Yeah. Because they lost 3 great players, and there's so much uncertainty. And who's going to be the center, and how much depth do they have?
And he just doesn't want a whole lot of credit. He just wants to coach and go home. He's not the fast dancer, the guy that gets the bright lights. He just wins.
Well, for a guy whose average season at Syracuse has been 24-8, he hasn't gotten as much credit as he deserves.
Well, I think coaches understand that. Nice play again, but the counter defensively by Brown.
Dabney gets it back. Duane in there wrestling for it. Exani, and another block. Trying to get really physical under the basket, and now it's Kevin Bannon who can't believe that the foul wasn't called. There will be a timeout on the floor. 11:37 to play. Rutgers hanging around. Syracuse, though, still leading by 10. Good defense by the Orange. I agree with you. A 10-point lead for Syracuse over Rutgers as the Orangemen try to go to 3-0 in conference play. And the Scarlet Knights hope to avoid falling to 0-3. It appears to be the beginning of what's going to be a very balanced and competitive year in the Big East. There haven't been a lot of blowouts, and there don't figure to be. And I don't know that anybody's going 14-2 or 2-14 in this conference this year.
And you mentioned Georgetown as maybe everybody's favorite at this point, but BC, an incredible run early in the year, and here's take a look at it.
Remember, with Virginia Tech in the conference, now 2 divisions. This is the West, which most feel is the stronger of the 2 conferences. And because there are 14 teams this year, as Simone Brown commits the foul, the bottom team in each division will not go to the Big East tournament in New York City, and that would obviously be heartbreaking for whoever's involved. Virginia Tech is the newcomer. They figure to take some lumps this year.
You know, you buy into Boeheim's propaganda. He's the one that said the West is best. He's amazing, and you.
When I do a game involving 2 Eastern teams, then I'll say the East is best, because that's what those coaches will say.
Now you're acting like a coach.
Yeah. When Jim Calhoun says it, I'll believe him.
They can be as patient as they want, right? That's one of the advantages of having a cushion.
And this game is without real low-post power players right now. They've been taken out of the game. Syracuse just took them out, and Kevin Bannon had to react and take Kareem Wright out because he couldn't guard any of these smaller, quicker players.
This is the lunch group. You know, when everybody's the same size, you go out and play. A little turnover doesn't help the offense right there.
Turnover by the Orange. Here's the new look Big East, as we mentioned, with the addition of Virginia Tech and men's basketball. Only 6 of 7 teams in each division go to Madison Square Garden for the tournament. Well, Exani was dribbling without really an idea of where he wanted to go there. Greer back to Exani. Oh, the chances they've had. And a foul by Deshaun Williams.
They have been around the rim and not able to convert, and that's a tribute to Syracuse, the interior people. They've caused hurries and changes, and at half court, you've got the centers of attention returning.
As soon as Jeremy McNeil got up off the Syracuse bench, Kevin Bannon pointed to Kareem Wright and said, "Get back in there, big fella."
And 2 of them take up a little bit of an area, and Jeremy's coming along. Going to help this team before he's helping them now, but his progress down the stretch should make him a factor in March.
Got to keep him on the floor. He fouled out against Pittsburgh after playing only 11 minutes, and he's got 4 fouls here today.
And that's one of those situations on the inbounds having difficulty against the zone. Just get it in and run your offense.
2-3 from Rutgers. A jumper from the corner by Shumpert. The wrong guy to leave open.
Well, they're in the zone, and you know he can shoot. A little nylon from deep. You got to get up on him.
He's 43% from beyond the arc, and another turnover.
Wrong way. You don't even need it. Look at Jimmy. He's living on the sideline. Valuing the ball. You got 13. You want to make it 15.
Past the midway point of the second half. Looking for Wright inside.
And inside they got a post presence of maybe McNeil.
It's McNeil. He's done. We are here at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center in Piscataway, affectionately known as the Rack. Dan Shulman, Bill Raftery with you. Number 10, Syracuse, leading Rutgers by 13. Syracuse playing without a Billy Seelick, academically ineligible, could be back for the Orangemen's next game. And Rutgers playing without Rashad Kent, who's out with the flu. You are looking at Jeremy McNeil, who has just fouled out. And even when Jim Boeheim wanted to go back to a big guy, he just can't keep him on the floor, and he'll have to go back to the small lineup again.
Well, this is when maybe Kareem can take over. Not Jabbar, folks. Kareem Wright. I mean, just go to him a little bit, maybe establish, take advantage of the size differential.
He was the story in the first half. The 6'9", 285-pound sophomore, starting because Kent's out with the flu. And he had a career first half with 14 points, but he hasn't played very much and hasn't scored at all in the second half, kind of taken out of the game by Syracuse's small lineup.
Now a chance for Chu to creep closer. See the back of the zone now. They're going to get Shumpert a jump shot because Kareem can't cover the floor. He can't get out on him. Go back to him. Make him work.
Griffin nowhere to go, but he finds Brown, who lays it home. Good eyes by Griffin.
That was a great trip.
Griffin averaging about 6.5 assists per game. That's bad for a guy who used to be a two-guard. McSanny with the right hand lays it up and draws the foul.
And that's not a bad play. It didn't look pretty. It wasn't smooth, but conceptually the right play. Clever offensive ability. The wraparound. And how about the step across too by Dibble? He keeps getting better.
McSanny to the line on the foul by Duaney, his fourth. And if Duaney fouls out of this game, then Jim Boeheim's going to have to make an unpleasant decision. He's starting to run out of bodies down there. This is not a very deep team.
Well, you know, Cole's got some ability. I mean, Jimmy
would be the next guy.
Took him out, but you know, played at New Hampshire. A guy out in Alaska, he played decently in the tapes I saw early in the season. And they even go smaller now. It looks like James. I didn't see the number yet, but it might be Theus.
Yeah, it's James Theus, the freshman who played just a minute or two in the first half. He'll come in, and Duaney will go out.
And Griffith becomes a forward. What do you think? Maybe Williams.
Williams becomes the 3, and the big men are Shumpert at 6'6", and Damone Brown is 6'9", but he's only 205 pounds.
And look at the matchup. If they are man-to-man, it's Williams being covered by Kareem Wright.
Oh, boy.
Now, this could be enough.
Now they switch off. Yeah. But there's not a good option out on the floor for Wright. Now he's got Theus, who's smaller and quicker.
And look at the coverage by the big guy.
Williams for 3. Rebound Wright. He had it. Brown gets it back, and now he lost it again. Oh, he had 2 great chances, and he knows it.
He's really giving them effort. Plus a lot of juice, I think. He's very enjoyable to watch. Kevin is hoping they can ring the bell, but the big fella just taking over down there. Just can't squeeze the apple.
All the little bounces have gone against Rutgers. Off their fingertips, missing layups. They just haven't been able to make some plays in around both baskets that could have made this a much closer game.
Yeah, offensively, a lot of balls teetering on the rim, falling off. Look at that middle in there.
Well, Rutgers, an air ball, but Rutgers not really sure what to do with this small lineup. They're not sure who to guard.
Jimmy Boeheim knows what to do. I think he's going to take Theus right out after that shot.
Wright finds Sherrod. Good bounce into the paint, but he has it blocked. If it's Damone Brown, that's his 5th block of the night, Billy.
Who said they're playing small, Dan?
Griffin. Wide open Shumpert. Way short. Boy, don't see him miss like that often at all. Play on. Greer for 3.
Look at this.
Wright has it taken away by Deshaun Williams into the hands of Billett, and it's wild basketball here at the rack.
Should have just taken it out of bounds with him. Good hustle. Couldn't get control to call a timeout. Just go out of bounds. Defense is set. They got to go answer.
You keep getting the feeling that Rutgers is on the verge of that 6-0, 8-0 run that makes it a game again.
And this building can generate a little enthusiasm. They can stay in contact.
This is a lineup that Jim Boeheim has not used before this season.
They're using a little clock each trip.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does slow you down. Look at this. Oh, my God. Numbers.
3-on-1. Billett will pull up for the 3.
And he had guys on the rim, so different kind of basketball. Oh, Rutgers hanging tough.
And that may have been just a 2, according to the scoreboard here. But it looks like Billett has only been given a 2, and the Rutgers bench is now arguing that. Jeff Billett has gone over to say, hey, I know my brother, and he knows where to pull up for a 3.
And if that point goes against my career record, I'm still saying it's the correct one. I thought he was behind the line. And at the rim, they got the ability to offensive rebound if necessary, but one of the few fast break opportunities. And here, just trying to do a little bit too much. James Theus comes up with the turnover. And here, look at the numbers at the rim.
And they have now changed it, Billy, to a 3. So it's 15 points for Todd Billett, and Rutgers is back within 9 at 57-48. And this guy can get red hot in a heartbeat. He's had some huge games this year.
Do you recall early in the game we were chatting about the length of the game, and he can punish it because he never stops cutting. The zone, in a sense, has freed him up on the half court, but that's one of the few times he's been able to knock one down in the early offense.
Theus has been taken out by Jim Boeheim. Duaney, who's got 4 fouls, has returned. And No changes for Rutgers. 9-point lead for the Orangemen.
I think Jimmy was talking about that long three. I think it came up.
Yeah.
More so than the turnover.
Shumpert, a quick three. Rebound to Wright.
Who else? Doesn't do anything wrong.
Billett feeling it right now. Sherrod through the hands of Exani, but the Scarlet Knights keep it.
Well, he really tries to break you down. Nice baseball pass there on the bounce pass on the baseline.
First basket of the second half for the big fella. It's a 7-point game. Here comes the crowd.
Really haven't gotten much going to the rim lately, have they? It's all been on the perimeter.
Blaney blocked. Need a good decision here.
Kick back. Good play.
Yeah. Smart play by Billett. It's a 7-0 run for Rutgers.
Don't put it on the floor in the lane. Oh, goodness.
It's the first time he's played against this team. He'll learn from it.
And they are quick to rake you. Good cut. Unfortunately, the turnover.
Sherrod. And he is fouled hard by Deshaun Williams. The crowd wants an intentional. Sherrod slowly helped to his feet. Kevin Bannon wants an intentional as well, giving Jimmy Burr an earful.
No way. Good hard play. Kevin knows. You got to beg, though.
Yep.
Why not? You're trying to make a comeback. Good use of the body on the ward-off, and you just see the giveaway. That's good, solid basketball. Sometimes the fall excites the crowd more than the hit.
Sherrod is a freshman from Brooklyn. Rutgers is the worst free throw shooting team in the Big East. Sherrod at 59% of the season, but led by Kareem Wright. They've done a good job hitting their free throws here tonight. Dabney in, Exani out.
He's from Robeson High School, and of course named after Paul Robeson, a great football player, later actor and singer.
1 of 2 for Sherrod. An 8-0 run for Rutgers, a 6-point lead for Syracuse. A wide open look for Shumpert. Syracuse ball off Todd Billett, says Ted Valentine.
Boy, they are cycling deep, though.
Got a timeout and got a ball game. Rutgers really coming on here in the last few minutes, stepping it up at the defensive end, and they are back within 6.
Experience the amazing movie America's top critics call a high-velocity, mind-boggling spellbinder that
the game, and he's quickly involved.
Well, they use him, which is so important. You mentioned this was his first goal of the second half, but he fakes right, the drop step. Of course, he's got the guy defensively on the high side, but he's mixed it up at the other end, too, whether it's rebounding or helping out. And here, all ball as the big guy is taking over. And right now, a little energy in the building because of his play. Key, I think, for the Qs is to just change the look of their offense. If the jump shot comes late, that's fine, but start to pry a little bit, whether it's an entry pass low or a dribble in the lane and then a kick out, but just change the look.
Kareem Wright still the high scorer in the game. Todd Billett heating up in the second half, and a great balance, to say the least, for Syracuse. They really have 4, and now with Duaney, I guess you'd have to say 5 guys who could lead them in scoring on any given night. They don't rely too much on any one player offensively.
Down and through against the zone. Good flash by Duaney, but when he gets it, he's got to turn and look.
Nearly stolen by Sherrod. Griffin to Shumpert, and he just can't buy one the last few minutes. Duaney misses the follow, and Wright has his 10th rebound of the night to go with 16 points, career highs in both categories.
Clint should have taken it outside and run some play, though. They got the look they wanted on the penetration.
Better than 7,000 here at the rack tonight. Sherrod. Dabney. There you go. It's a 4-point game as Dabney finally converts one in around the basket.
And Mike Sherrod with good penetration set it up.
Dabney now with 10, all of them in the second half, and it's a 10-0 run for Rutgers.
It almost looked like a boat ride for Syracuse, didn't it? Coasting, lethargic, they set in, they weren't real, they were not as aggressive offensively.
Hit the floor. Duaney comes out of there with it, and a tie-up is the call, and that'll give the ball back to Rutgers.
How about that? That's some aggressive play by both teams. Hey, Kevin, that first timeout early in the half, they changed the look a little bit offensively. Looked like they could have been run out of the building.
It's the under 4 timeout, and it's still Syracuse trying to buy a basket. Rutgers back within 4.
I'm a childcare director in the summer.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by brand name tires, oil changes, and more at your neighborhood Walmart Tire and Lube Express.
Now, even without all of the students back, there is some good noise, or good juice, as you were saying, in the building tonight. Now, Rutgers is on a 10-0 run right now. Sometimes you see a team expend all its energy getting back and getting close. What do the Scarlet Knights have to do to sustain this?
Well, they've been using the dribble. They've also been using the elbow pass and getting baseline either jump shot or drive to the goal. But you can just see here the change. I mean, not a overly impressive field goal percentage, but consistent with Syracuse as well. But the ability as Syracuse had the first half slowed down just a tad.
Syracuse shot 56% in the first half, but as you saw, only 38 here in the second half. And even a guy like Preston Shumpert, one of the best shooters in this conference, has had some wide open looks, but they're not dropping for the Orange right now. Looking for Wright inside.
And look at the lob to Dabney. Nice little cut.
Dillon. It's there.
You can't leave him. And he's getting the crowd excited too, waving his arms.
A 14-point lead has been cut to 1.
Almost 3. Got to get it out of there. But that's the spot. Quicker decision.
Tough one for Deshaun Williams. Offensive rebound, Griffin.
And a foul. Alan Griffin with the reach in. Guess who had the ball?
The big fella who's had the biggest night of his career.
Package it. And Rod Baker's just telling him to calm down on the free throw. And that's what he has to do. He's pretty emotional, causes the tough shot, but right here, you're not going to get a piece of that one. He gets the ball. He is having
fun, isn't
the most enjoyable evening of his life.
He is 8 for 9 from the line tonight. So now he's got as many free throws tonight, 9, as he had all season. He was 9 for 22 coming into the game. He's 9 for 10 tonight.
It's just an amazing turnabout.
I mean, that's a statistical impossibility. But he's making it work tonight.
There he goes.
A 15-0 run for Rutgers to take the lead.
Not as aggressive offensively. Cuse has to turn it up a notch.
Brown. Just nowhere to go with Kareem Wright out on him, or Dabney, whoever's covering Brown.
And they're not able to turn and find anybody.
Griffin has to do it himself. Dillon comes out.
You really don't need it. Just fan dribble. Good job. Kevin Banner waving to him.
The last time Rutgers led the game, it was 2-0. They have just grabbed the lead back here at 58-57 and nearing the 2-minute mark.
They don't have that quick cut now with the two big guys in. That's tough. Tough angle pass.
Brown almost has it stolen, and Billett reaches in to commit the foul.
And maybe a smart one, too. Fortuitous, I think, because of the numbers.
And it's only the 15th foul on Rutgers this half, so it won't send him to the line.
And Jim Boeheim trying to relax his guys a little bit. Syracuse thinks his free throws. They're not realized now they got to get the right bounce set.
Billy, they've gone 7.5 minutes without a field goal. Unbelievable drive. for a good offensive team. Williams. That'll snap it.
And, you know, they weren't ready to play. Shumpert ready to screen in. Williams pops out to the corner. And Kevin Bannon, maybe the first time he's been upset in about 15 minutes, wouldn't you say? He didn't react very well on that play.
Well, the last time they beat a ranked team was Syracuse here 2 years ago. The last time Rutgers beat a team ranked in the top 10, it was 1982.
Is that right? And I guess the last ranked team was January 1998.
The orange,
which was
right
Syracuse.
Here.
Right here. Here's the inbound pass. Now just look how they relax. The screen isn't even necessary. Just terrible reaction on the inbounds pass. Hit those legs set, huh, Deshaun?
Hopefully the next game will be as enjoyable and entertaining as this one. We'll take you to the Atlantic 10. Fordham hosting St. Bonaventure. Both teams 0-1 in the conference right now, but started off the season very impressively out of conference. And it comes your way right after this one. Dave Strader and Tim McCormick. For more on college basketball coverage, log on to ESPN.com.
Dan, I think Rutgers has to go back to the dribble drive. Get in the thick of things.
Each team with timeouts remaining. As you can see, a huge difference in the fouls. 2-point lead for the Orangemen. Greer's been quiet in the second half. Got a chance here. And it's blocked by Brown. And it's Syracuse ball.
And Dabney upset he couldn't squeeze it. I got a little bit too far without a decision. That's what you have to do against the zone. It closes, but you got people out of position. As right here, it's going to be a kick out. Would have had an open jump shot.
Damone Brown with 6 blocks tonight. Duaney almost allowed to stroll on into the basket.
And you just see right there, they can get a shooter like Shumpert. They could do some damage. That elbow.
Shumpert kind of sneaking around under the basket right now behind the zone. Shot clock inside 10. Griffin. Wright got a piece of it. And over the back, we're going to have a call against Syracuse. It'll be Deshaun Williams.
And not a good release either. That's what set it up, huh, Alan Griffin?
And that will send Rutgers to the other end for free throws.
You got to use good judgment as a guard. You get in there, it's a dangerous area. Quick decision, fan dribble. Right now, there's nothing there. You got to just keep going to the corner and reorganize everybody. But that's not the judgment you like, particularly from your leader at this point on the floor.
Sherrod at the line, a 59% free throw shooter on the season. He'll get a couple.
They got themselves a player in this guy, I think. Exciting with the bounce. And Kevin, who's fought through some ineligibility, some injuries, and today the sickness of Kent, and did a miraculous job to get this team back in against Syracuse.
Well, he is proud of them now. He says, I know we're a little undermanned, but he loves the effort and the togetherness he's getting. Sherrod misses 1 of 2, so it's still a 1-point lead for Syracuse inside the final minute of play. And a timeout is called by Jim Boeheim.
And right away, Jimmy talking to Alan Griffin as to what he wants as you penetrate. They have to toy with getting guys to the right spot. If it's that elbow, get the right shooter there.
Jim Boeheim making sure it's a full timeout. Let's revisit Kevin Bannon's comments from the beginning of the night. Some tough road losses, and right now, this team needs the W.
Right now, the guys are giving me everything that they could possibly give me, but you've got to win. You know, you just can't keep coming up with moral victories. You've got to get over that hump, and you've got to get some wins. And hopefully, playing at home and lessons that we've learned early on in the year in the league, you know, will help us tonight.
Lost at Villanova by 4, no shame in that. Lost at Notre Dame by 7, no shame in that. And in each game, fell behind, roared back in the second half to make a game of it. A similar pattern to what's happening here tonight, but they just couldn't get over the hump. As you look at the upcoming schedule for Rutgers, and again, you look all the teams seem so equally matched so far this season. It's not like you can look ahead and say, okay, that's a win, that's a loss. You just can't predict anything right now.
See, now I know you didn't coach. No coach ever does that. That's the way that, 2 games you forgot. Princeton. I mean, that's very important.
Right.
Rutgers, they beat them. And I mentioned earlier Florida, where I thought they played very well. Just shorthanded coming down the stretch, whether fatigue or foul problems. But right now, I mentioned location. Jim Boeheim, I'm sure, strategically trying to get people maybe where Kareem is. If he has to come out on the zone, they can dribble drive on him and find somebody or flash on him because his foot coverage may not be quite what the other inside people happens to be.
To their feet at the rack. Williams inside.
Oh, and they had Shumpert on a kick, or give it to Griffith and reverse it. Boeheim had moved him up by the elbow and get that premier shooter an opportunity.
16 on the shot clock, 39 in the game. 1-point lead for Syracuse.
See if they'll reverse it for Shumpert.
Griffin, nice bounce pass to Dwayne. Dabney thought he had the block clean, but Jim Burrs got him for a foul.
Tell you what, that was a beautiful reaction by Eugene, and not a bad entry pass either by the Cuse. And that's something you look for from Alan Griffin. Nice catchable bounce pass, and that's one you can argue, no matter who you're rooting for, there's always going to be some contact down underneath.
Dwayne at the line for 2. A good free throw shooter on the season at 81%.
Okay, now this little stoppage almost gives an opportunity to make the shooter uncomfortable. They finally organized it. They wanted to be sure what was on. It was on Dabney, and now Kevin Bannon calls another one just to make him think a little bit.
And even if he makes them both, it's still a one-possession game. And Rutgers, as we've seen tonight, certainly has the weapons from outside, especially Todd Billett. More basketball comes your way this Saturday. Our friends at ABC will kick off their college hoop schedule with a doubleheader. Action includes North Carolina hosting Marquette, number 5 Kansas against Oklahoma, a big one in the ACC, number 9 of Virginia visiting number 2 Duke, UNLV and Utah, and Oregon taking on the number 1 team in the land of Stanford. Check your local listings for the time of the games in your area.
And let's just say he makes both. I would go get 2 quickly and try for a gamble on the inbound. Stretch this game out.
Right.
Hope they miss free throws, and you get 2 for 1 or 3 for 2 as the game progresses. Yep. You just see the timeouts. Cuse with 1:30. Rutgers with a full.
Dwayne from the line tonight is 4 for 6. There's the long-range weapon for Rutgers, should it become a factor in the final 25 seconds. Well, cool as a cucumber on the first one, huh? No hesitation.
A little unusual question.
Another big performance for him off the bench. 3-point game.
It's got to be a quick push now. Get into the quick deuce. I'm going to call the time the last time out.
With 21.9 seconds remaining. That is the final timeout for Rutgers, as Kevin Bannon will make his decision. Quick 2 or look for the 3.
That's 3 if you miss and they rebound. I think you can say goodnight. Now, the best way to get a 3 is almost by accident. Use their elbow, use their low post. If you don't have anything, quick kick it out, or dribble drive and kick it out.
Another game coming up behind us. St. Bonaventure reporter, Billy Strader, and Tim McCormick standing by. These folks hoping that maybe there's a little OT in the offing here in the rack.
Our coaches suddenly trying to discuss exactly what they want. I mean, they do, as you mentioned, have some terrific weapons, deep Greer and Billett. But it's how you get it to them if you decide on the 3 that's key.
This has to be where Danny Hurley and Jeff Billett want to just rip off their jackets. Put me in, coach.
Talk about guys that can shoot it deep. Danny at Seton Hall. Of course, Jeff here. And there's that, as noted earlier.
That was a tremendous game. Rob Hodgson, a great player for Rutgers in his 4 years, had to wear 3 different uniforms that night because a cut he had kept getting opened up. He kept changing uniforms, and they stormed the floor at the end of the game. It's quite an experience here when the students are here and it's full when Rutgers beats a favorite.
Now, did I overhear them saying, don't storm the floor as you were talking?
Did they say
That's
that?
anticipating. But right now, Q staying in the zone. I'm sure everybody has been told they must rebound.
Food for thought. Todd Billett 4 for 7 from three-point range tonight.
They weave on occasion. And now they're going to be stuck for the three, I think.
Billett would be option number 1. Greer probably number 2.
Oh, a foul giveaway. Yeah. In a way.
Not the worst thing you said.
No.
So it's 2 shots for Billett.
Jimmy may have done that on purpose. What's your guess? I don't know. If I play him aggressively.
Well, the way Griffin argued the call, he's either a good actor or he didn't do it intentionally. It's hard to say.
A similar situation as UConn and St. John's the other day. This guy's got one of the great strokes, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. On the season, 76% from the line.
Now they got to be prepared defensively. Deny. Try and close a 5-second call.
Just a sophomore. Billett's got 20. 1-point game. And now it'll be Duaney to the line with 7.5 seconds left. And again, even if he makes both, a 3 can tie it. So Rutgers hasn't lost anything except some time off the clock here with that last change of possession.
They're trying to get a free timeout over there quickly. And I guess Dabney now they get 30 extra seconds, so Kevin's going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, number 5 on Dabney, so he'll be gone. And looks like Iksani may come back into the game. Dabney with 10 points as he fouls out, all 10 of them coming in the second half. And Dabney and Kareem Wright combining for 28 points tonight. I don't think that Kevin Bannon would have bet on that.
You know, the nice thing they have going with Sherrod is he's, I mentioned earlier, a one-man fast break. Great speed dribbling ability. So depending on the outcome of the free throws and if they get the ball in his hands, I mean, he can really wreak some havoc on a defensive setup. Jimmy takes everybody away. He does not want. This is interesting. He doesn't want anybody to go over the back and get that kind of a foul. But what you do is you give the opponent now a chance to speed dribble even better, get up the floor in a quicker fashion. How about this guy?
He's made 3 in a row now. And Syracuse is a team 11 for 13 on the night, and they are the best free throw shooting team in the Big East. Nothing to it for Duaney. Need a 3 to tie.
Give it. Here's the weave. They like stay up on the shooters.
Billett got it off.
Ooh, almost a foul.
He put it back in, and Wright could have had a foul called there. The officials are gone, and this game is over. But what a risky play underneath. I think it was Damone Brown on him who almost committed the foul, and that could have sent Wright to the line in an effort to tie the game.
What a great comeback, Dan. The ability to come back. And right here, you are right. Look at this. I mean, that's just why. It's almost like, why do it?
The 2 can't hurt you, but the foul sure can. Well, another moral victory, but another loss for Rutgers. Syracuse goes to 14-1, 3-0 in the conference. Breakout night for Kareem Wright. And down the road, Rutgers may have themselves something in the big man, but it's the Orangemen who win tonight by 1. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Let's go back to the studio to Brian and Jay.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. Kevin Houston there in St. Bonnie's. We're going to show you the Bronx when we come back. St. Bonaventure and Fordham, part of our doubleheader here on ESPN2.
Unfortunately, it was tied at 4. This is Alan Griffith to Preston Schumpert. And if you're going to get beat, you might as well get beat by a guy named Preston Schumpert. Say it with me.
Schumpert.
Thanks. It feels good, doesn't it?